All right, what do we need? Treble hooks. Oh, split reeds. Hello, Frank. Hello, Franklin. Oh, trying to get on my Burns builder dude in the house. Morgan, you know what? You're in luck. Because sweet young BBC, actually, Rich sent me, aka Hella, sent me a message, and he said, "How did I sleep on those and still end up with a set?" And I said, "Great question." I told him, I said, but the answer to your question is that there's a few guys that I did not see in the order list that are going to be pissed. And the first one that came to mind was Morgan Mason. I said, dude's going to be livid. But young BVC was looking out for our friend Bob Stevens over in the sand, and he picked him up a set. But Bob was in a appropriate time, or he was awake, or whatever he was doing, he was present and was able to buy his own. So young Brendan has a spare set. And I was maybe somewhere slinging a buzzbait. And we talked about that too. How about that? It was destiny for you not to get these. But you might end up getting them after all from young Brendan. But yeah, you were definitely the one that popped in my head that was gonna be not happy. Not happy. I said, damn, these are like built for that dude. There he is. Hey Brendan, I found your other group of baits. Who wants them? I found who wants them. So what we have to decipher is there's no use in me shipping them both to Brendan. I guess what would be the easiest thing to do would be for Morgan to pay Brendan, and then I just ship them from here to Morgan. But oh man, I usually this is when things get confusing because I'll pack all the orders and I'll forget about this, and I'll have like one box short or something. I'm like, where are these going? Why is this confusing? Yes, Bob, your spare set. Brendan said you were good. Brendan said you didn't want the spares. So BBC Morgan workout the wampum or trinkets, beads, whatever you would like to trade with. USD, don't care. I will just put them in the mail. I will put them to the appropriate person so we don't get double shippy. Never good. They will get put to work around some trash in Arkansas. I can assure you that. Live on the water, Mindy. What are you catching? What are you catching live on the water? That's exciting. Who's your boater today? Are you on the bank at your sand pit or your gravel pit, whatever you call it? Got a text from UPS inviting me to take part in a survey. Given the fact that Brendan sent my order out almost a month ago, I still don't have it. I would love to share my thoughts. UPS. At a sand pit, we got a 12-foot V bottom. They are definitely some Arkansas river baits. Come May, Morgan, if you're not slinging that, we're gonna have to get your head examined. They're good early in the year too, but late April, shad start flickering around. Shit. So I get hooks on today, get packaged. The Mac is going to surprise y'all. I like that it's pre-named. That is my favorite thing about the Mac, is that I like the name, and it's already been given. Hello, Rich Shackelford. What's new? I thought you were fishing today. Didn't you tell us that previous? Brendan is ready for the Mac. I've actually Burns. Have I been Mac attacked ever? Have I ever seen the Mac? Has my presence been graced with a Mac? I feel like you will hate this bait. Not big enough? Never seen it. Out of all the dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of Burnsies that I have laid my hands on, I don't know that I've ever even seen the Mac until a couple weeks ago. Burns has been keeping this one in the closet. Is it too dainty? River's been high and muddy, and the wind blew like hell this weekend. Well, that doesn't sound like getting out there for a fun, relaxing day on the water. That sounds like pain. Painter dude will not like this bait. It must be very dainty. I might need to paint it in a rainbow color, is what it sounds like. Painter dude will not like this bait. I might have to go order some red hooks and put red hooks on this thing. It might be that that dainty. Come on, what is this piece of junk? I need to feel my baits. Can you feel it? If you can feel it, I don't care how small it is. If I can feel the thing wobbling on my line and in my rod and in my plums, then I'm fine with it. I don't care. I don't care how dainty it is because I've thrown a lot bigger baits that you couldn't feel. Got to feel it. Yeah, if it needs to be thrown on a spinning rod, might have another issue with it. But if it can be thrown on a bait caster and it has a little bit of tick to it and it's not like reeling in a leaf, has more of a wiggle like a flat side. I'm okay with that. As long as it's not like reeling in a leaf. You know, when your crankbait gets a leaf on it or something, you're like, what happened to my bait? It weighs 3/8, so it's castable. It's castable. It is castable. Bob, I think I tried throwing a crankbait on a spinning rod one time, and I didn't feel like I could ever catch up to the bait. And it was a terrible experience. So I realized that I was never going to try that again. And the only reason I tried it was there was I can't remember, it might have been a FLW tournament back in the day on Lake Eufaula. I don't think it was bass. Might have been though. I think it was an FLW tournament. And Mark Davis, it was in the early 2000s, and I think Mark Davis, it was in the early spring, and he was out there cranking with a spinning rod, and he was catching some big ones. And I was like, let me, and everybody that at that time, this was probably when Pryor was pumping out more money red shad wraps than he could humanly produce. It was probably during that era, and I saw that and I was like, man, these guys talk about how deadly a shad wrap is in the wintertime, early spring when it's tough. I'm gonna have to try this. And I tried it, and I realized shortly this is not for me. This is not for me. So I didn't. Only thing I really throw on a spinning rod is a size 5 shad wrap. I've got a Cronarch 50 mg, an old one, that I could probably put some like 10-pound test on, and I could probably heave it a little ways. But we need Dennis the Menace on here. All right, let me make a note. Ship to Morgan. I'm going to write it in big Sharpie. Ship one set of BBC's baits to Morgan Mason. Should be able to remember. Hopefully, I'm going to stick it right here and set it up. So we have a shirt today from the vault of my youth. I think I got this shirt in middle school. This is probably from the Big Johnson shirt era. But this is Outdoors with TK and Mike. I don't know if any of you have heard of them. Some of you from up north, probably not. But if you're from down south, Kyle Downey has definitely probably heard of Outdoors with TK and Mike. Morgan, possibly. But if you notice the back, I don't know if you can read it. It's a dude taking a dump on a log, and the quote says, "Grunt up a biggin," or a big one. And they're implying farting is grunting up the deer. For those that needed help. But I didn't get much use out of this shirt back then because I don't think my mother was a fan of fifth grade me wearing this. And you can tell by my size, it still fits. I was a little husky. But I've got all kinds of crude shirts like this in my closet back home. This is just one of many. I have a nice BDS suspension shirt. And if you look up what BDS suspension stands for now, since they've been bought out by Fox Racing, it is not what BDS used to stand for. In its origin days. The Mac is not small. The action is not typical. More subtle with a wiggle. When do you think? When would you say the Mac thrives? When does the Mac need to eat? Is a good. What conditions or time of year, Burns? Can you give us a rundown a little bit on the Mac, on when it needs to eat? Gator, I'm the same way, dude. I asked on a stream previous if anybody likes pocket tees, and the majority did not. But I like putting stuff in my front pocket. Like I put all kinds of stuff. The problem is I usually put stuff that's too heavy in there, and then it stretches it out and it like sags. Early spring, cold water rocks. Perfect. Put your shad wraps and your spinning rods up. Pick up a light bait caster and throw the Mac instead. Sounds like another Arkansas bait. Sounds like a bait bred for the beautiful waters of Arkansas. The Ozarks. I have a Kistler Z-Bone light casting that will cast a shad wrap better than battling removal. I'm buying the little baits in the next drop for my little sis to use. No way, I'm using micro cranks. Brendan, what do you throw in January? A HUD? DRT? I guess if you start with a DRT, like a K9, and you're not getting bit and it's miserable cold conditions, and you work your way down to finesse, a Moab would then become finesse for Brendan. Rich, he's down with the Carhartt pocket tees too. We got 2 votes for the Carhartt pocket tees. It's not real winter, Kyle. You know, fake winter. Speaking of winter, Hella sent me a 10-day forecast from his neck of the woods up in Minnesota. Doesn't look good. I saw 20s and 30s. A lot. He said it was about to wrap up there. Morgan, I was trying to get Burnsy into a like a 0.5 micro root, but I would have to have the bills. I have to find somebody to make the bills. A little mini root bill. But I think that would be awesome bait when it's cold, or right now would be great. Had a frost for the first time, man. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I like the Citizen, Bullshad, K9, TK, Slow Big Glides, Crankbaits, Buzzbaits, Poppers, Cheddars, Spinners. Now, Brendan, out of all this stuff you throw, big wise, please tell me why there is no mention of a Huddleston. It is probably responsible for more big bass than any bait in any big bait category. Without it, the Citizen wouldn't exist. None of that crap would exist. But you took a poll from all the legit swim baiters. They get hung up. Interesting. Interesting. What about a plug knocker? Grown to be a fan of the Nitwit. That was a good name, I will say. What about Brendan? Have you used the no hook, no harness, no anything answer, Huddleston answer to the Citizen type bait? They make one that doesn't have anything in it that you can rig the same. 5-pound smallie on the hood. That I guess that should have come as a shot, right, Jeremy? Or were you not? Oh, they don't make a big one? That's weak. Come on, Dennis. Come on, Dennis the Menace. Morgan, you're going to destroy on this bait. Morgan, I need to come fishing with you. I need to come up to Arkansas and say, take me to your finest logs and let's see what happens. Take me to your finest Arkansas timber. And let's dance with some bass. Let's dance with some bass. I like sucky fishing. I don't, I actually kind of prefer it. I like a challenge. I like a challenge. Me first. Yeah, put the builder dude on the boat. Aren't y'all close? I'll be in Little Rock from the 6th to the 11th. We can grab lunch. You're passing through. Gator, you're all over the place, dude. Morgan, here's the key with me. I don't care how big or small. I just want something scenic to throw around. Like if you put me in the Dead Sea and there's no cover and it's like mud banks and there's nothing to throw at and it's ugly, that's misery. I'd rather fish beautiful water and catch smaller fish than fish shitty looking water and catch bigger ones. That's just me though. Gator, are you going to stop by Bacon's? Jeremy, I just want the whole experience, dude. I want it to look nice. It's in Shreveport, Gator. I'm sure you'll be passing through there. Bacon's Tackle Shop. If I throw a HUD, it is a legal 68. I'm flipping the bank with the creature better. I'm fishing a wedge or hump. Very interesting. You can come fish with me, but we probably start a fine bail money account first. Plausible. Are we going to be fishing with phones, Hayden? Am I going to get in the boat with Hayden? He's going to say, get the phone out. I'll say, cell phone? No. Fishing phone. We about to call some up. We about to call some up. Take you to some mud banks. I can give you as crappy or as beautiful water. You fall in Alabama? Or you fall in Arkansas? I mean, you fall in Oklahoma. What's it like, Morgan? Is it slick banks with nothing to throw at except like some puny little docks? What's the worst is when you go to a lake that doesn't have any cover in it, and then you get there and there's docks, and then you go to the docks and all the docks are like brand new. Like, I don't mind fishing old dilapidated docks that have like fur growing off of them. Been eyeballing a nice spot off the big road in the middle of a cornfield. Never seen anyone fishing. That usually means biggins. I'm down with that. Trespassing, I'm certainly okay with. We can get in and out of there. Have a mini route sometime next year when the stupid balsa shortage comes to a halt. That just means I'll have to go back to resin. Oh yeah, Gator. If you're driving through Shreveport, swing into Bacon's. Morgan, maybe you could put me on some. Maybe you could turn me into a rock cranker. Burns, I'll just get that Luna dude to do it. There's a couple of those guys out there. Maybe I'll even get real fancy and get him to put a little squigglies on it. Gator, stop and get lunch at the Cajun Asian when you get into Shreveport. Noted. Go to Bacon's and go to the Cajun Asian. That's hard to say. Cajun Asian. I don't think there's a shortage of lips, Kyle. That lip doesn't exist. We have to create that lip. That lip has to be outsourced. Mid to late March, and we could crank some rock with some wigglewort style baits. I guess cranking's cranking. March is terrible for me because it's typically my child's birthday. The bean is a March baby. And the first thing when they said she was going to be born in March, and I was like, damn, that's when all the good tournaments are. That's when I have a really good track record of doing really well on my daughter's birthday. There's two that have been produced, the big and the little. We've been talking about Brendan, you have a private pond I used to have access to and still have the gate code. They smash a red crankbait in the spring. How far away from me is it? You know what's crazy is I had heard of this monster bag that got caught, and I think I fished the tournament, or maybe I didn't, but it was the trail I used to fish, or it was I can't remember, but it was a tournament way 10 years ago, and it was this really really big bag weight, and I heard from other people uh, how the guy caught him, and one of the guys that was talking to me about it wasn't from that area, so he wouldn't have known, but he was from the area of where the guy was from. So I don't know if he talked to him or somebody else. And I think he had talked to him maybe before another tournament, and the dude was like, go fish, this type of thing. And the guy told me that, and I was like, weird. That seems like a strange kind of way to fish or to catch like that big of a bag. And then I was fishing with another guy that I fished a trail with a year or two ago, and we were fishing this little stretch. I was like, "You ever catch him here?" It's like, "No, but what's his name caught 27 pounds here in March." I was like, "Right, this is where that happened." He was like, "Yeah, I watched him." It's like, "No shit." So I had like confirmation of where it actually was, and where I thought it was like way off. But what he told the guy was accurate. I was just looking. I had in my mind like somewhere like way somewhere else. It was pretty cool to whenever you hear stories about that, like somebody catching a giant fish or something, and you find out where it was, and you actually get like the real truth of what happened. It was very it settled my feel like you would like Dardanelle and Kerr. Dardanelle for sure, because it's got bank grass. And I drove over it going to Kansas one year, and we drove over this big flat, and there was like wood scattered all over this flat, and that turned me on. And I'm telling you, this I don't know if anybody's from around there, but Old Hickory gets a bad rap in Tennessee, like outside of Nashville. Old Hickory is a really, really, really fun lake to fish. It was back in the day. Had grass, had wood, it had everything. It had deep creeks, it had shallow creeks, it had clear water, it had dirty water, it had like a good river bite, it had little hidey hole creeks you could get into. Like Dardanelle to me is a great tournament lake because there's tons of options of things you can do, but it's not infinite. So if multiple guys get on the same bite, but there's also options to get on like little sneakier bites. So I wish they'd go to Old Hickory more. Probably Morgan. Russellville sounds familiar. Caught 20 pounds off that wood. I sniffed that wood out as soon as I drove over it and saw it. And I said, mm, mm. Let me get on that. Let me get on some of that wood. You'll be airing out your juice holes, Morgan. The more tournaments go to a lake, the less fishy it becomes. Yeah. So I think they need to like diversify. Like if they went back to Old Hickory, that'd be sweet. I don't know. Is there any of y'all's local lakes you'd like to see a tournament on? Or would you not like to see juice exposed? There's another lake we go across in Arkansas. It might be Conway. Is that place covered in cypress trees? We drive past one and it is like a cypress swamp. And there's a few houses on it, but I mean it's mainly just a giant cypress tree lake. It might be Conway because I remember looking it up, driving past it, and then I started looking it up, and I went straight to YouTube and was like, Lake Conway bass fishing, and apparently it's got a minute pretty good. Lake Conway is drained completely, like all the fish are dead. Morgan, Zona, and Kevin Short. I have to look that one up. I don't know where I'd find it, but I'd like to watch that. Low enough for dam work. So, do they not allow boats on it? I bet it is juicing, dude. If you could slide you a kayak in there, I mean, I know I'm anti-kayak, but I would probably make an exception to get into that place. Jim, is that how I know your name? Were you fishing an All-American back then? And Hold on. Hold on. Jim, every time I see your name, it seems familiar. Let's see. That would have been FLW around 2000. What? 2000. Let's see. 99, Memphis, Pascagoula River, Shreveport, St. Martin, St. Clair, Wheeler, Old Hickory. That was in May. That wouldn't have been it. BFL All-American at Cross Lake. Old Hickory Everstart. October 29th. That's got to be it. Let's see. Open. There you go. It's reading. Can y'all see that? Oh, no, you can't see it. No disc. Bullshit. No disc. Why the hell am I probably reading that one? No disc. Weird. I wonder why that one won't read. Will this one read? I don't think my DVD player is working. Might be dusty. It's thinking hard. I'll be interested to see what tournament this is if it pops up. Kyle, this is a really old, I wouldn't say it's an old DVD player, but I haven't used it in a while. I didn't think DVD players expired. Show me some fakes. I don't even know what I've done with my remote. I don't know if these work anymore. If this doesn't work, let's see. I need input. Where's that at? Turn, angle, language. How am I getting a signal? Well, this remote works. The DVD player's plugged in. It's getting power. It just wouldn't read a disc. HDMI 1. No signal. Source from the source. Source. Channel 3. Processing. What does that mean? Source. HDMI 1. No signal. 7 remotes. Hey! Look at that shit.
The EverStart series features some of the top names in professional fishing and some of its brightest young stars.
Is that too loud?
The best from the 4 EverStart regions converge.
Jim, are you flashing back? Am I making you pissed?
Someone will set the hook on the 2003 EverStart Series Championship. Our 10 finalists take center stage, starting right now on FLW Outdoors.
Jim, are you in this footage? Brendan, before the days of streaming, this is what happened. This is what my life used to consist of. I would just sit in here and put hooks on baits and go through the DVDs. People would swing by, grab a cup of coffee, eat their lunch, watch a Bassmaster with me. What did you think, Jim, of did you have another high finish in something? Because your name has always been familiar to me and I didn't know where from. Like, would I have read about you in a magazine or something somewhere? I mean, even if you were just in tournament results, I probably would have remembered it because I used to just go down and read the names. How did you catch them on Old Hickory, Jim? I guess you didn't have the magic docks that Tony had. Here's Steve Kennedy. These shows were so terrible, though. They're almost unwatchable because they're all bullshit and there's no actual fishing. Day one, Old Hickory, Gallatin, Tennessee. I won an EverStart. Which EverStart did you win? Because if you won an EverStart, you're on TV. I would think. A lot of those are televised. Brent Earler, look how young. Detroit River. What year? Jim, I know I'm burning your fingers up trying to type. Only two had limits. And Moorhead had a limit. 04. Let's look. Kyle. 2000. Here's 2003, 2004. 2004, Chapelaya Basin. This is 03. Lake Hamilton. Logan Martin. Lake Hamilton in Arkansas, the All-American in April. No, I do not have a Detroit River from 2004. I guess they didn't televise it. All I have from 2004 is Okeechobee, Chapelaya Basin, Old Hickory in March, Beaver Lake, Kentucky Lake, Lake Champlain, Logan Martin in August, Lake Hamilton, the All-American in April, and that was it for that season. Ouachita River, 2005. Oh, I remember this guy.
Some anglers saw an improved fight on day 2, with 14 limits weighed in. The biggest belonged to Kellogg coach Jim Tutt.
Jim Tutt. All right, one more bait. That was the year I was born. He slowed down was the key. Stayed in there all day where he knew there was some fish and got him. Clark Winlet was a stud. You know what's scary? What really makes me feel old is when I look back at these and I'm like, man, Clark Winlet was a badass back then. And he was like 34. Damn, dude. I'm old. Like Clark Winlet in his prime was like 6 years ago for me. Like all the guys I looked up to back then are my age now. Yeah, 04 was good partying time. Agreed, Kyle. Jim was 49 in 04. Yeah, you were still, you were good. You still had enough wisdom and physical acuity to get everything done. That was a good fishing age. That's probably why you went on a tear, Jim. 2 BFLs and a Everstart. I bet that's why I know your name, Jim. I bet it's from reading about you. Jim Tutt zeroed on day 1. Then his co-angler caught a 7 and he bounced back. You need an 80-inch one to replace the pegboard so we can watch and stream. Back here, just make the whole back a TV. I put it over my door so it would be completely out of the way. I didn't want to take up any prime real estate, so I just slid it over the door. And I hid the wires right there. All right. Now it's packaging time. 05, they screwed up your back. That's unfortunate, Jim. I'm sorry, that sucks. That sucks. Did they paralyze you? Like, or they just mess you up enough that you couldn't get around? You've been making some badass jigs though. All right. There's the cheater. Skinny as a damn rail. So that fish supposedly has been living in a tub, not eating. Pond fish that lived in a tub that he was able to get his jig into. Permanent nerve damage. Hard to walk. That sucks, man. That's the worst. Black Tube, Wesley Strader. I don't know if I'm going to use these again. I kind of like them. Keeper? Did y'all like these little boxes? Those of you who got baits in them, I kind of like them. They're annoying, but I keep forgetting to order packaging, so I have to rely on these. I don't think I hate them. I hate putting them together, but I think they look pretty nice. So why you sit and watch YouTube? Well, I thank you for tuning in to this little shitty stream. You're a valuable resource, Jim. A valuable resource to the bass fishing enthusiasts. Because while I was sitting around reading and watching all this stuff, you were living it in what I consider the best time in bass fishing, which this was kind of, I don't know. The Sitco era of Bassmasters was pretty awesome. I don't think it tops the 90s. What do y'all think? Bob Cobb era or Sitco era ESPN bass, which was better? Jim, you want to come on a stream one day and talk about your old tournament days, your wins, your BFL wins, your EverStart win? That'd be fun. It was all good. You're right, Hayden. It was all good. I'm a little biased towards the 90s, but I can't argue that the Sitco era was great, because I feel like a lot of things changed during that time. Not much of a talker. That's okay. That's okay. A lot of people aren't. I wasn't either. But I needed to get my fishing chatter out because I was boxing it all in. And I will say it took a little while, but it feels good. That's what happens when you don't have any friends that really you talk to a bunch that want to talk about bass fishing all the time. You need time without Mercer. Yeah, I like Mercer. I don't like Ronnie Moore at all. I don't know whose ass he kissed to get where he's at, but I'd rather see anybody over that dude. We need to get Nolan Ryan's son, Reed Ryan, back. Y'all remember when he did the commentating? Shaw and Fish Fishburne were good during the late 90s. They were kind of a weird combo, but they're both really, really good anglers. And Mercer's good at what he does. He's a bass fishing nerd. The pretty boy of bass, but he's not pretty. I don't find him easy to look at. I feel like Tommy Sanders is the pretty boy because Tommy Sanders looks like everybody's dad or like uncle, or everybody's got somebody in their family that looks like he has a very universal look. Nobody measures up to Bob Cobb. No, Bob was the GOAT. And Ray. This is the lake where Ray Scott almost hit me with his car. When he gave me the double thumbs up. And when I say he almost hit me with the car, he pretty much did hit me with the car, except it didn't like injure me. Like I was walking through cars and Ray was coming this way, and I walked out and his car was right there, and I like slapped his hood and he went. And I saw like the tassels and I was like, holy shit, that's Ray Scott. He had that's when he was hawking deer food, and he had that whatever that brand was of deer food he was selling. That was his tag on the front. That deer stuff. He was driving a like a white kind of Lexus SUV thing. Hit with a car? No, an actual car. Ray Scott's car, SUV. If anybody can hit your car, yes. I was honored to get run over by none other than Ray Scott. They're nothing, Brendan. They're nothing. If you want one of each, I'll throw you one of each. They're small. They're not as big as the last batch I did. I would like to have another bigger batch, but I got these just to try them out, see how I liked them. So when they do a bigger promo on bigger stickers, I'll order some more. I don't know if I've got enough to give everybody one. I don't think I ordered enough of the scope sticker. But I don't know that everybody wants the scope sticker. Rich, you'll have one coming your way, my man. I got a big pack of them. Okay. The Alien. John just wants the crank one because he likes to do that. All right. Rich has got the scope sticker on his boat. Nice. And the Ned. You got the you got a regular old fighter rig. I just put them on my little box over here. That's where I collect them. Morgan, that will be funny. If you want to do a little guerrilla marketing for me and just start blasting people's trucks, trailers, and boats after you put your boat in the trailer, after a tourney, let me know. I'll send you a big pack of them. The floor, dude. So we went to the hospital, whatever night it was, Thursday night with the bean. Well, she got a glow in the dark sticker that said, I got an x-ray. And it was a thumbs up, but when it glowed, you could see the bone. Great sticker. She was real stoked about it. And because she loves glow in the dark stuff. And I told her, I was like, the sticker glows. I was like, when we get in the truck, we'll turn it on. We'll turn off all the lights and you'll be able to see it. And dude, she was like geeking out on this sticker. And we got home, and her sister was my mom was holding her sister because she had woken up, and the bean was sitting beside him, and she took that sticker and stuck it on her sister's arm. I don't know where they get their stickers from, but it is the best adhesive I have ever seen in my life, dude. So when I went to put the baby down, I saw it on her arm, and I was like, oh, let me peel that off. I figured kid sticker from the hospital's got to be junk. I tried to peel it off. It had fused. It had pretty much fused to her skin. Like it was one with her skin. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to leave it. So the next day, I start trying to peel it off. And it like just a little sliver would peel off. I was like, all right, we're going to have to like soak this thing. So we get in the bath, and I'm like trying to soak her arm. And eventually the paper came off and the adhesive was still like striped on her arm. And I think it finally came off in the bath last night, but it was terrible. It was terrible. Oh, you know what's good about these? These stickers might fit inside this packaging. What year is your truck, Brendan? Ford or Chevy? What do you drive? I can't even imagine what the BBC Mobile would be. And don't tell me a 2022 2500 Denali. And if it is, just lie. Oil. Cooking oil? Olive oil? Any kind of oil. Motor oil? Olive. Maple syrup? Does it have healing properties? Sunflower. We probably have. No, I think Amy's done away with anything. We got avocado oil. That'd probably work. Avocado oil is good. Expensive. The price of Mercury Optimax oil. I haven't bought oil in a while. Is Quicksilver Premium Plus like $50 a gallon now? where it used to be 20. Those were the good old days where you could walk in Academy and just grab up like as many jugs as you wanted, and it didn't matter. You didn't even have to look at the price. (2013) Denali HD. Dually. Ooh. Big rig. 2013. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, that's got the good Duramax in it. Have you had head gasket failure, Brendan? Have you had any maintenance you had to do to that rig? No seed oils. This is my new pathetic life cup. Rather than go home and risk getting the life cup from my house, I had to go pick up toothbrushes and toothpaste for the girls at Walmart, and they had this on the clearance section for $5, and I was like, I'll spend $5 on that. Runs like a dream. Good for you. Good for you. I like to hear that. People having good vehicle experiences. All right, so now I need to put little, let's see. How am I going to do this? Will these fit? Not really. I'll just put them separate. I'll just dump them in separate. Everybody will get one of these, and these will fit. So let me set these out so I can get to all of them. I'm just going to put them in the bottom, or no, I don't know. I'm so confused. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. See the jig? Oh, yeah. What this video title was all about. So I went to Hobby Lobby today to get these boxes to put these beautiful Burnsies in, and I went to the clearance section as I always do, and I couldn't resist myself. They had these little spools of wire, 26 gauge. I'm not a huge fan of the 26 gauge for jig tying. I like 24, but it's good enough. But what I do like is to be able to color match my jig. Nerdy, yes. Does it make a damn difference? Don't think so. Does it make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside when I look down on the deck of my boat and see a very nerdy color-coded wired tie jig? Yes. Does it make me feel special? Yes. Does it make me feel good? Does it make me feel better when I pitch it to a tree? Yes. So it's the same thing with Eric's stupid red hooks, even, except this wire isn't shitty. It's not harming my chances of reeling in a bass. Shitty red hook potentially does that, but It's the same little quirk. I won't be able to do many jigs with these, but I don't tie that many jigs to begin with. Each color can correspond to weights. I didn't know Nasheen did the football heads like that. That's pretty clever. Use a different size wire to tell you what size the jig is. Pretty smart. That guy's real smart anyway, so it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. Like, you can't tell me that that's not going to look good on a brown jig with some like couple pieces of tassel on it, or a PB&J with a little purple flash under it, or even a standard black and blue with a little blue flash, or even a roadkill jig with a little red on it, or a swim jig with red, or or an orange jig with a little orange green pumpkin in it with this olive color. Yeah, that's super nerd. So I need to take my Lichty jigs, and I need to. I already wire tied them, but I use silver wire, and I need to up the nerd level of those since it's already a nerdy jig. Um, I need to change the color on it to more appropriately match. I need an orange, black and orange with black wire. That look good. I got some. I got this kind of copper colored wire. That would look good. I do have the perfect skirt, I think, for that jack-o'-lantern. Let's see. This one? Where is it? We do that one. We got lots of jack-o'-lantern options. I used to have some black barbed wire. Really ugly. We have solid. You want it a tad bigger? No, I don't. If anything, a tad smaller, but right in line with the Killer B1. Because I feel like the little roots, kind of Killer B-ish already. Jack-o'-lantern jig or fish scale jack-o'-lantern. Mix a little of this in. Got options. We got options. All right. I need stuffing. I've been tying with old ice fishing wax line that I found at the depths of my gear. Cinches up real nice, drop the super glue, and then we're in business. We'll see more when I get my new molds done. Are they aluminum? Are you having them cut, Jim? We're doing festive. Hello, John. Just stuffing little boxes with little amounts of this stuff for the fall colors. It doesn't like to string. I guess that's what you get when you buy it at the dollar store. Nice looking shreds though. Silicone. Oh, it's probably a spin cast. Do you spin them? Waxed bowstring material. Super stuff is indestructible. Y'all like tying over wire? Y'all like thread, needle and thread, bobbin? Oh man, it comes down to two guys. Of course it does. Tony, you loser. Just a two-sided mold. I gotta get me some new packaging. I want to do something different. I just don't know what I want to do. I think I'm going to go to tubes. Not a specific jig, Brian. Brennan, I think he's going to send it to me. He said there's a piece missing that he didn't realize was missing. So I think he's going to send it to me and let me do the tinkering. So we'll see. We'll see how bad it is. We'll see how bad a shape it's in. The price you pay for slinging them up against docks. I don't like this material. It's not cut short enough. It's very long. Down South Bassin. I think it's lame. I don't think I would be down with dealing with MLF anymore. Which is, I guess, why the anglers have supposedly started some group to protect themselves, some sort of angler organization that's supposedly supposed to be the, which I don't understand. Like, if they won't listen to you as individuals, what is the difference in putting a sticker on all of your names as a whole and saying, listen to us now? Oh, what's up, Doug? Where the hell have you been? You've been hiding, dude. You start a new channel? You putting all your Mobile juice out into the world? All right, I think I got enough of this little squigglies on there. But yeah, so the anglers have apparently joined forces to stand up to the big bad organization that they're all supposedly should have already been in bed with. I don't know. Maybe this way they can sue them if they need to. Which you're not going to sue those bunch of wealthy guys. Did MLF go back to 5 fish in 1 year, hoping for KVD to leave out on top? I don't. I think they realized. I think what they hoped was that all the people bitching about it, like me, that follow Bassmasters, would be like, "Oh, they're back to 5 fish. Let me watch it now." But they'd already lost us. Like they never had us. But I think they thought they would kind of reel in a few of the the guys that didn't like that format that were 5 fish guys. But I think at the core, the core of the problem is not with every fish counts with 5 fish. I think the root of the evil is MLF, is how their business has been done, how everything with the anglers has been done. I think how they just their whole business model had a stink on it. Flip flopping rules, yeah, I think just people are over them. Duckett led the revolution against Bass. Now they're going to revolt against him. Funny how that works, isn't it? A dead fish starts stinking from its head. Yep. The core problem is Boyd. Yeah, I think you could probably everybody could probably come to the agreement that the dude is a snake that cannot be trusted. That he definitely, I think, had a personal vendetta that he wanted to. Well, I mean, Zaldane said it. I mean, or Trait said it. That somebody that was higher up said that they wanted they wanted to cripple bass. So, I don't know. It sucks for the guys that. I mean, it doesn't really. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're getting into. You know what you're getting into. Everybody started drinking the Kool-Aid and they got burnt. I mean, it's kind of fitting. It smells like a turd. Looks like a turd. Probably a turd. I heard somebody was talking about. It might have been what's his name, Andrew Upshaw on him and Castledine and Matt Steffen were talking on that live, and Andrew said he was like, I think it's going to go back to how it started as just like a made-for-TV like thing, and let the FLW tour go back to being the FLW tour. Let the BFLs be the BFLs. Let the Everstarts be the Everstarts. All that kind of stuff, and it just like morphed back into what it was. But it sucks that those dipshits had to completely dismantle everything, only to go back to the way it was. But maybe the 80 will talk Kathy Fennell into quitting and I'll go with her. Maybe. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah. I guess nobody else's parents taught them that. Amy's doing all right. She seems like she feels a little better today. Had the vid before? Oh yes. Oh yeah. Amy brought it to me from her travels to New Mexico. That was the first time we got it. We managed to avoid it, which I think we got it before anybody knew what it was. Like in 2020, everybody like got locked down in March. Is when everybody was like, "This has a name." I think Amy and I had it in January. We went to a wedding in Austin, and I think I caught it there because I remember coughing for like a month. Um, so I was probably responsible for spreading it around Mobile because I was just walking around just hacking everywhere. Um, but then during COVID, we managed to avoid it for like 2 years, and then Amy went on that trip, and she said she came back and said she had some allergy issues from the dust, and it was not allergies; it was uh, the big C word. And then I think I had it a couple times in the last like year or so. I think I had it a couple weeks ago because I went to the doctor and felt terrible, lots of body aches, fatigue, and tested negative for everything. So I was a super spreader because I seriously remember like walking back there to paint and just like hacking in my mask and then like taking my mask off and just walking through the halls just because I couldn't stop coughing. And then but I wasn't so sick that I couldn't work. I just felt terrible. But this last time I got it, I couldn't even get out of bed. I felt terrible. Um, I got tested. I got tested this last time and I was negative. The last couple times I did get tested and I think it was positive. Maybe. I know one time I didn't. I just stayed at home or I just stayed away from everybody because I just came to the shop and worked. So it didn't matter. RSV, had that. I've had them all, Rich. I have had them all. They're great fun. They are great fun. They are great fun to have. Look at that nice little look at that nice little holiday package. Let me get all my stickers out. Gonna help the NPFL. I believe you're right. I think the NPFL is going to thrive. Hopefully, they'll have some. They'll have some hurdles to cross, but I know they are probably pretty stoked over at NPFL land. So that's what your little box will look like. Um, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll to me it'll be interesting to see which guys retire, which is a shame that they don't get to live out their career the way you would imagine it, to where everything's good, everything is like the same as it always was. You just like it didn't require like a huge monumental change for you to like decide to call it quits. Brendan, I probably will. Yeah, I probably will. John, I would almost I've been pushing for and by pushing I mean talking about it on here and to my friends for years and years and years that I would probably rather see the opens be televised than the Elite Series because I think it's more interesting because you have such a good mix of or back in the day you did where you would have guys like jackpot guys. I don't know with the fish all nine thing, you're probably not going to see it as much, but you used to have the guys that would sign up for all the Southern Opens so they could fish, one on Okeechobee or whatever. And you'd see those groups of guys that just wanted to jackpot or cherry pick that one tournament. And then it's like it's typically a tournament of those guys versus the other guys. And it's cool to see that variation of how the locals fish it compared to how a guy that has no experience there fishes it. Um, Printed bubble wrap envelopes. It's lost his mind. He must have got a deal. AJ, you're going kooky, dude. All right. Nope, wrong one. Oh, didn't put a sticker in there. Whoops. Whoops. There you go. There you go. Denzel. That's pretty good. Looks like this upcoming weekend is my last 2 days to get on the water for the season. Pretty lame. Brian, I saw that. Hella sent me a weather report, and he said it's going downhill fast. And I saw 20s, and I saw 30s, and it looks like y'all are about to get the freeze on. The funny thing about it here is it's just getting good. Johnny Morris is walking around the show somewhere here. He has horses with another trainer. He has a daughter. I know for certain because a guy I was friends with in Austin was from Arkansas, and his girlfriend was best friends with Johnny Morris's Johnny Morris's daughter. She's probably a little older than you, Brendan. She's probably late 20s, early 30s, mid 20s. But she might have a sister. Hey, Johnny, nice to meet you. I'm BBC. Where's your daughter? Is your daughter here? What's your favorite kind of gloves, John? If you're a glove wearer. They should break up the tournament into groups of people that are just fishing one or two tournaments. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. There's a few little more strands in this one. So needs a little more filler. We're fishing the Mobile Delta. All right, let's see here. Brendan's got to go. We just saw Johnny Morris. Good luck, Brendan. Good luck. How's MLF doing, Johnny? Place sucks. You don't want to work for them. You have a famous TikTok girl in Georgia, Macy Watkins, and she went to the banquet with Old Crazy Man. Yeah, she's fun. I see her on the gram. I think I follow her on the gram. I don't have TikTok, but she's always doing cool stuff. I am going to take a page out of the Japanese lure builders playbook, and I think I'm going to order my next round of business cards or backer cards or whatever I do, and I'm going to put a blank line so I can write what the model is and what the name is. Which I've always thought were cool. Guys, I wouldn't say it's from the Japanese guys. Guys used to do it here back in the old days. Check the phone. Let's see this. .75 wide. Let's see. Is that too big or is that just right, Burns? Sounds big. That's up to you. Doesn't matter. If you say it's right, it's right. If it's too big, we'll just do another smaller one. We'll just have a whole four bait lineup. Being the greenhorn, I used tar foundations in winter was the absolute worst. It was a poured wall and had to get it done. Took off my gloves and my hands were black. That sounds gross. I can confirm that the worst job I ever had, or the worst job I've ever done physically, was we were scheduled to pour a elevator wall, and we ordered the truck, and I think there was some sort of confusion over the pump truck. I don't know if pump truck didn't get ordered, if the pump truck was late, but something happened and we didn't have a pump truck, but the concrete was there. So we couldn't just sit there. So we had to pour like 7 yards of concrete out of 5-gallon buckets. Overhead. After about 30 minutes, I didn't know how I was going to like finish the day, because the concrete crew that was there wasn't that big, because they were going to pour it from a pump, so it didn't, they didn't need a bunch of guys there to pour it out of buckets. So it was just like the crew and us. No, we had to. It wouldn't go up that high, because we had like scaffolding built up, so we had to take the concrete and pass it, and then pass it up to the guy on the scaffolding, and then he passed it up to the next guy on the scaffolding, and it was brutal. It was terrible. It was terrible. But somehow I got the spot right under the scaffolding. Like I missed the sideways passing. I was the guy that had to pass upwards. Once it's there, you got to get it out. Yep. And that was one of those days. Got to do something with it. So, but survives. Made it. We're here. We're talking about it. Oh yeah, I got all the drippage. I got the drippage. Another fun drippage job was we were setting the pilings for our boathouse, and we had a little track hoe that padded out in the water when it was real low, and we were going to set the poles, and we had them all marked out with these stobs, so I had to get in the water, and we choked a chain around the pole, and the track hoe would lift it up and he would set it down, and then I would hold it, and then he would pick his bucket up and put it on top and drive it with his bucket. But he had been digging in slop all morning, and his bucket was covered in mud, and every time he would set a piling, it would like rain mud and shit all over me. And it was in the middle of the summer. It was a pretty not fun job, but at least I was in the muddy water. It's kind of cool. Trying to pack plastics. You would have got the parking lot crew, Kyle. Gator, that is a hard thing to narrow down, because you never know. Well, one thing for certain is, whatever you pack the least of, and that is the least durable, is what they're going to bite. That is for certain. If you bring 100 pack of sweet beavers, definitely not going to get bit on that. Definitely not going to get bit on that. Anthony, I like your tapping into your subconscious dream state fishing mind. I feel like a lot of good things happen when you listen to that. If you had a dream about the sluggos, you should certainly bring the sluggos. Gator, what would you not What would you not leave the house without? If you could only take one pack of worms on your trip to Toledo, what worms are those? Look. Cinco. Close. Yamamoto? The real deal? Stick bait. Wow. I'll be honest. I don't know that I've ever gotten on a bite that was the strictly uh, weightless Cinco, throw it out there, let it sink, set the hook. I don't know. Like, I think I've caught a few fish doing that, but I don't know that I've ever like fished for hours and that ended up being the bite to where I was like, I know how to catch them. This is how you catch them. You just throw this thing out there and you let it sink. I don't know that I've ever been on that bite. Vision, dream, premonition. Woke up with a chub. You're good. Too many choices will lack your confidence. Good point. So don't pack too much, Gator. Brad, did you send me sluggos? A brush hog. Caught him on a brush hog. I have caught him on a brush hog. Plenty of bass have been nailed on a brush hog. Plenty of bass. What color, Doug? If you only had one, chameleon, Junebug, some green pumpkin. Bag of sluggos. I'll have to do some digging. Supreme baits. Are they really hard and make it hard to hook a fish like the originals? If so, I'm sold. Sign me up. Teeny brush hog. I like the baby brush hog. It's always my favorite. I know guys used to go. The full size brush hog was like the lunker getter back in the old days. Strike King swimming worm, June bug on Amart skip gap hook. Good combo. Anything that Amart's name is on, great combo. I wish that dude was still around. I wish that guy was still around. I wonder if Brendan's hobnobbing with Johnny Morris right now. got 100 bags. Brian, you need to start. Put the spinnerbait down. Throw the sluggo. You got to burn through some of that stock, dude. Put the Soala down. Pick up the Slugola. Pretend like you're 14. Pretend as if you're 14. Could you imagine? What if BBC did land? That would be cool. If we all knew somebody that was like tied into Bass Pro Shops family. I hope he does. Then he can tell us all about it. Like, Brendan, how big is this house, dude? Like, which one? They're all huge. Oh, you want to come out? You want to come out to Johnny's place? Yeah, we're having a party out there this weekend. You consider the Sluggo finesse? See, I don't know that I would bake the Sluggo into the finesse category. I would put it in the schmedium category. It's pretty weak, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's finesse. Dustin, where'd you go? What body of water? Bobby Horn. Old Bobby. We're going real fat. Pool 19, Mississippi River. Dustin, do you catch grinnell on a frog up there? Is that true? I heard ramblings of that. Somebody told me y'all's grinnell like to eat buzzbaits and frogs. Were they pulling my chain? I should. You're right. One last time before they go sayonara. I need my paper. No, I need to turn my lights up. Let's crank the brightness, see if we can get some light. There we go. You don't get a great idea. Pretty good though. I think these are going to go down in the record books. So all the scales aren't blue. The scales are silver, but they fade from the front to the back. There you go. See, they're just silver, but the front up here is blue. Just a kiss. I was watching Richard Brasson. I thought he moved to Florida, but it looks like all he catches is Florida grinnell. That's interesting. I don't know, Kyle. Maybe you can comment. I feel like Retro Basson's the whole vibe of his channel and his whole format of the way he films, and he like doesn't wear his glasses as much. Like the whole vibe has changed. It's like all the life got sucked out of him when he moved. Like his Texas videos, he was very full of life, and now it's very. I feel like there's like a dark cloud over Retro Basson's channel. That's a little ominous. I don't know. He just seems to have a different tune. You know what I mean? It's like, Anthony, you agree, Kyle? I don't know what the deal is, but like he had to, like you hear him talk about it, and he's like, I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, well, why does anything have to happen? Like, what? He could have moved and just changed his stuff, like changed the room, changed the lakes he fished, and I wouldn't think nobody would have known the difference. Besides that, it was different. Um, but the whole demeanor of the channel is very odd. I don't know if he's in a dark place. Obviously, something's going on. I feel like I need to give him a damn hug or something, like Retro, dude. Put your glasses back on. Get your pistol grip out. Pull out your damn jitterbug, and get out there, have some fun, dude. Later, Rich. Shook him up, I guess. I've moved, but I would think there would be exciting opportunities. Maybe, he's already moved once. He's from Maryland, and then he came down to Texas, so moving shouldn't be a big thing. That's what I was thinking, Hayden. That's what I was thinking. If you have to move and you move by yourself, that's maybe part of the issue. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here and get to printing because I need my computer. But thanks for sticking around, dudes. We'll talk to you later.